The E-Racing League Season 4. It's round 8 today and we're back in Australia where we ended off Season 3. 14 drivers racing side, 15th to join in a short matter of time. I'm finishing off my food, I'm finishing my bacon sandwich, so I'll be silent for the next minute or so. Never mind, that's finished. So, we're here in Australia. We're here in Australia for... I need to mute stream. We're here in Australia for the Australian Grand Prix, as I've already said. As we're going into the qualifying session now. Lap data, track map. We don't need the tyres, everyone should be on softs at some point in the session. So we have 2 Williams drivers, 2 Saubers, we have a Racing Bull, a Red Bull, 2 Aston Martins, a Haas, 2 Mercedes, a McLaren, and 2 Ferraris. Chenky, reigning champion, as Nathan in the McLaren tonight. I was given a fun fact that his last race here was April 4th, 2025. That's very interesting. I think I remember that race. Says 22 said he doesn't know when his last race was here. Last week when he won was his last race. We have Gatsby, who... this is, in fact, his league racing debut. Scarlett on back this week, back in the Williams along with S22, who won last time out. Scarlett only managed to scrape 9th last time in China, not China, in, why am I getting China? In Canada, that's better. He only scraped P9 last time in Canada. He'll be hoping that he will be hoping that he can do better tonight in Australia, where I remember watching him race last Sunday as he goes off a little bit on the outlap, getting a little bit of warmth on the tyres by going a little too sideways. But it doesn't matter because it's only the outlap. But, we should have Gillian, who still somehow leads the championship, joining in qualifying. I'll keep an eye out for him. So, Scholar on to the first lap of qualifying, down into turn 1 through turn 2, as he's always got front wing damage, as Gelly has joined. As Scholar, right as Kelly joined, makes a mistake and gets some front wing damage. So now we'll go on board with the Swede off Sniper Maker and see what he can do on his on his first lap in the white Red Bull. Through the first sector into the going into the second in a moment's time. It's I missed what that first sector was, but he's invalidated it there. So we'll go on board with Joe. He's got the Ferrari. Which Ferrari is that? The Ferrari of Regan ahead of him. I think Joe has ended up backing out of that lap. And whether he thinks that's impeded or not, I don't know. It was awkward because Regan was exiting the pits. And Joe approached it to him very rapidly. But now we go on board with the Sauber of HJMB. And we'll see what he can do through the first sector. Will he be the first driver to set a valid lap? It's a 26.8 through the first sector for the Sauber. It's through the second sector, which is really just one big long straight, very fast sector. 44.231 through the first 2. Now through the chicane. DRS open as now head down into the 90-degree right-hander, which has been tightened up over the last couple of years. And now down into the penultimate corner, through the final corner, and now it's a drag race to the line. DRS open, ERS being burned on a 17-0 to end the first lap of the qualifying session as Joe had invalidated his. Gaspi not on a lap yet. Both Ferraris on a lap as Chenky to the line. It's a 15.7 for him, and that's a good lap for him, as I have the same bug as I had last week. That's just wonderful. As KZ and Matty rounding the final corner, and now he's in a drag race down to the line. It's a 15.9. He goes second fastest so far. Sniper Maker into the pits. He's not going to continue pushing. Up next is the Mercedes of Rob rounding the final corner, and he'll be DRS open, ERS burning down to the line. It's a 16.4 from him. He moves into third. Next is going to be Nathan in the McLaren. Rounding the final corner now, DRS open for the McLaren driver. He'll burn the rest of that battery down to the line as a 16.787 for him. Next up is going to be Regan to the line, rounding the final corner, burning battery, DRS open, down to the line. It's a 16.764, just ahead of Nathan by a couple of hundredths of a second. Next, Gillian. Oh, never mind, he's on our lap. As there's a bit of a polite way of putting it, a fuckfest going on with Jax with an 18.2, Orion with a 17.6. So a bit of a fuckfest going on there. There's Gabriel with a 16.9. So much happening there, I couldn't work out what was going on, but it's 22 now to the line. It's a 16.1, it's only third for last week's race winner. As Gallian in the second sector now, we'll keep an eye on what he can do. And now, Gally, and who still leads the Drivers' Championship by 7 points over Chenky, down to the line. He only goes second. He's still 2/10 off Chenky. Chenky absolutely flying at the track. He won the Drivers' Championship at last season without even having to race that race. So impressive there. Jax invalidated on his lap. He's currently the slowest driver on track. Scala, ooh, big moment there for the Williams, invalidating his lap. We have S22 who's in the pits, Rob who's invalidated. So, who's going to be next to cross the line? I don't know. Gaspi is about to start a lap, so right on board with the debutant. Is now down into turn 1 he goes. I'll be looking for a good first couple of corners. That's not too bad for the Swiss driver. The 3 Swiss drivers on the grid tonight, the most we've ever had. As he manages to just keep it valid there. And now to the end of the first sector, it's a 27.4. I don't know where that stacks up in position wise in this session. Midfield sort of pace around the likes of the Saubers and Astons at this point of the lap, but can improve 45.0 through the first 2 sectors. I think it's a little bit down on what our time on board with the Sauber of HJMB was, but now into the heavy braking zone through there, and now it's flat to the penultimate corner. A little bit of a lift through this right-hander, runs a little bit wide, not really taking the apex. Now into the penultimate corner, doesn't take the apex either. Now nicely clipping the inside curb for the final corner. DRS is open, and now it's a drag race still line for the Racing Bulls, and it's an 18.4 on his debut, as that was Sniper Maker up into 8th position. Good lap from him. Next is going to be Joe, who hasn't set a lap yet. 43.8 in the first 2 sectors. And he's got a few cars. Oh well, he had case of Matty to get past ahead of him, but now down into the penultimate corner for the Mercedes, nicely rounding that penultimate corner, and now it's rounding the final corner, and then it's a straight drag race to the line with the DRS open and ERS being burnt down to the wire. To the line is a 16.1 for Joe. He goes 4 thousandths faster than S22 as Regan starts another lap, but we won't keep an eye on that just yet. We'll keep an eye on that. Actually, we won't look at this out because they have invalidated. Who's next? Who's ahead of these two? Shenki is actually going to be next to the line. He's already 2 tenths up on this lap through the first 2 sectors. Can he find another 10th in the final sector? It's a very good lap looking from the Croatian. As now DRS open, as we push to the line, it's going to be 1 minute 15.1, almost 6 tenths gain for Chenki. That was a blistering lap from him. KZ 1,000th down through the first 2 sectors for KZ Matti. He's pushing on this lap. Now, into the final sector. Coming down now into the penultimate corner, the final braking zone on this track. Little bit of a lock up of the brakes, but he's got the rotation, and now rounding the final corner is going to be pushed to the line. What battery does he have left? What straight line speed does he have? It's a 15.8 and he goes into second ahead of Gelliend. Regan to the line, 3 tenths improvement. 6th position for him now, dropping Rob into 7th. Now we have the 2 Saubers 2 tenths down for HMB. It's almost 2 tenths up for Jax, but what does the lead of the 2 Saubers have in this final sector? As nothing has run into the pits. Jax, what does he have left in his lap on his return season DRS Open? And now it's a straight push to the line for the Sauber. It's 2 tenths gain, but remains P13. Next is going to be Scala, down into the final braking zone for Scala. Penultimate corner. Has the Aston Martin overtaken him? That was an interesting one. Scala looks to be setting up for a push lap this time around. Possibly it's a 120.9 for the Swissmen, the 2 Swiss drivers at P14 and P15. Rob. Well, he's 9 seconds down, so Rob might be on a lap here. We'll have a look. As he has the Aston Martin, not the Aston, but the Williams of Scarlett ahead of him. Will obviously need to move out of the way if Rob gets close up. 1.5 tenths up in the first sector for Rob. And Scarlett does move to the side and lets Rob nicely through, and now it's just a straight push to the end of the second sector. 1.5 tenths in the first. What will it be in the second for Rob? It's 2 tenths gain in the first 2 sectors. And now DRS open again, and he's going to keep pushing it. And let's see where the Mercedes can go. Currently in 7th, can he get up around his teammate Joe? Maybe 4th and 5th for the 2 Mercedes. Maybe more for the 2 Mercedes, you never know. Now down into the final braking zone, penultimate corner, now into the final corner. Rounding the final corner, DRS open, it'll be burning the rest of the battery in that drag race down to the line. It is a 16.0 for Rob, and he moves ahead of his teammate. Gelliend now 3.6 seconds down, he's on the push. Gaspi 3 tenths up in the first sector, into the second sector now. Let's see what the Swiss driver can do. Can he jump himself up ahead of Jax? Or not? 2.5 tenths gain for him, dropping it to 5th through the left right, which is an interesting one. Most people I see drop it to 7th, maybe down to 6th through there, but dropping it to 5th is an interesting choice from him. Now through there, it looks much cleaner this time around than he did last time through there. through the penultimate corner, now into the final corner. What can it be for the Racing Bulls? What can it be for the reserve tonight? It's down to the line. He finds a 10th in the end. And he remains P14 with 3 and a bit minutes to try and get round and get something else in this lap. S22 coming through the final sector, ready to start another push lap. And now into the first corner for S22. Firing the car into it, and now through the first sector. Validating through the start of the second sector for S22. The last thing he wanted was that on a lap which could have put him up near the front. He's a second off Chenky, which is very interesting, as well. Chenky just put a blistering lap together, but we'll go on board with Jax. He found almost 3/10 on his last lap. What can he do on this final run with the DRS open on the run down to turn 3, turn 4, whatever it is? Now through there and now into the left-hander. Look forward to ride the outside curve a little bit. Now it's flat out to the end of this first sector. And it's 5/10 improvement for him. And that's a very good first sector, and it's going to put him up on par with his teammate if he can continue finding time throughout this lap through the second sector. DRS open, pushing all the way to the end of it. It's lost a little bit of time, only 4/10 up through there. So he's going to be in and around where Orion is currently at. Orion's not left the pitch yet. Both Astons pull out now. Gatsby's still in the pits. He's going to have to be careful to pull out in time to get another lap in, as it's going to be very tight if he goes for it or not. But Jack's now rounding the final corner. It's going to push it down to the line, as it is a 1:17.5, and he goes up ahead of Orion. It's 11th and 12th for the two the two Kick Saubers at the moment. Little birds out eventually. As Sniper Maker looks to be next down to the line. Jax has retired it. Whether that's a retirement or a crash, we'll have a look now. In fact, he's crashed it by the looks of things. The Sniper making 9th position is all he can muster in this session. SS22 6 cents down. Not sure where he's exactly going there, but we know that this will be here about to start a lap. S22 retires the car as nope. Regan's invalidated. I don't think he'll get a chance to set another lap time now. He won't get another chance with Gatsby sessions over, S22 sessions over, Jax's sessions over. Regan's session will be over. KZ Matty with 300 up in the first two sectors. Can he get himself provisional pole, or more likely can he get himself second place? It's still a line. It's a 5,000th of a second gain. Chenky deciding to call it quits in his session now. Scholar yet, or 120.9 for him as he rounds the final corner and pushing it down to the line now. Where will he put the Williams? It says P15. It's Joe P4. Nathan, where can he put it on return? It's P7 at the moment. Gelliend gets within a 10th.5 of Chenky. P2 is all it will be for him though. HMB to the line. remains P11. Right. So Rob almost a tenth down through the first 2 sectors. He just needs 300 to jump his teammate. He loses 3/10 in the end. Simply make Gabriel and Orion all down. And that is the starting grid. Chenky takes pole and takes that pole position point, with Gelliend in second. On a return drive for him, we'll see what he can do. I really hope they get disqualified for stopping on track. Please get disqualified. It's the 2 Astons. The Astons are going to have to be careful to not get disqualified, although Gabriel will start with P15 being with that 5-place grid penalty he mentioned in the Discord chat, which unless you're a driver you don't have access to. Haha, I'm not sure gonna laugh at that. Chenky takes pole, Gelliend in second. Then is Mati in third, fourth for Joe, fifth for Rob, sixth for S22, seventh for Nathan, eighth for Regan, ninth for Sniper, 10th for Gabriel with a 10-place grid penalty. HMB in 11th, Jackson 12th, Orion with a 5-place grid penalty in 13th, Gatsby in 14th on debut, and then Scarlett in 15th there. Swiss Thai driver. Multiple Swiss heritage drivers, or multiple drivers with a bit of Swiss in them tonight. We are missing the likes of Cooler, who raced last week. A lot of people remember what happened last week for him, but we'll be going in a short moment's time as what will happen in today's race. Who the hell knows? We'll just find out when it happens. I mean, in all honesty, if anyone has any predictions for how the race is going to go, please put it in the Twitch chat. We have 15 driving tonight, so yeah, could see a safety car in this race. It's not uncommon enough for Australia to have a safety car. I mean, if you remember back to the end of last season, we had a safety car or 2 in... Oh, who won that last race last season, actually? Oh, that's a tough one to remember back to. Oh yeah, it was a bad one with Rob picking up a podium and Volt picking up his first podium. He's not here tonight. Joe got 4th in that one when he was in his Aston Martin days, and Regan picked up a 5th place in that one. In what led to be Ferrari's Constructors title winning season, their second Constructors title here in World E-Racing League, with Aston Martin falling just short of them. This season is looking like another Ferrari dominance, but Mercedes are up there with them, only 5 points off them. Yes, Alpine lead, but now without Gelliend being full-time and without a Baden at them, they have had that gap humongously shrink over time. But you'll see now what is to come of the Australian Grand Prix. As we go to the 5 red lights here in Australia. It's lights out and we're racing everyone on the mediums and hards. Chenky with a good start. Mati with a very good start already up into second. He's going to be on the inside down into turn 1. He's in the lead into turn 1. Chenky dropping to second and the pole of Mati up into the lead. Nathan moving to 7th, battling with Regan, Rob and Joe up there. Orion up to 12th already. Gatsby in 13th. Gabriel up to 14th as there's... Well, we get through turn 1 without too much chaos as Jack's all going off the track and possibly erratically rejoining as there's an incident there as Gatsby and Scarlett, the 2 Swiss drivers, making a bit of contact. Gatsby facing the wrong way. Yellow flags are out for the Racing Bulls driver, with Mati 4/10ths out in the lead of Chenki. Gelliend on his return here, starting on the hard. He's going to go long in the first stint. He's going to slightly be eaten up by these medium runners. S22 behind him, putting pressure on him. He's had a very good start as well. He's gone from 6th up to 4th. As Jax already with a penalty. It's 3 seconds for Jax. That's the last thing he really wanted, as HMB going to go down the inside of Sniper Maker. This is for 9th position. This is for 2 points. Regan with a little bit of grass on his tyres, and he's now going to come under pressure from the Sauber as well. Further back, the other Sauber of Jax now trying to get into this points position fight, as HMB now down into turn 1 on the inside of Regan. Regan losing the position, but he's going to try and fight it back. But Regan's now got Sniper Maker trying to send it 3 wide. He can't. Sniper Maker's going to look to the inside of HMB, then decides against it. Back to the outside. Jax down the inside. Late on the brakes. Sniper Maker with the switch back on him, and it's all happening back in this battle for P8. Is now Gabriel clawing his way into this fight as well, and he's going to look to try and launch an attack on Jax, as Jax had a little look to the inside of Sniper Maker. HMB stays in where he is, as further ahead. There's going to be change for the leaders. Chenki down through the inside of KZ Mati. Gelliant still leading S22, but S22 just sticking with him, and he's got 7/10ths to Joe in 5th position now, as Gelliant had a little look to the inside of KZ Mati, decided against it. KZ Mati a little bit of a lock up there, as Joe's just staying with him, and these top 7 are in a completely different fight to these drivers further back. As now Sniper going to look to the inside of the Sauber, as there's a bit of contact between the two of them, as there's a little bit more contact as Regan holds onto that position. Jax now opens the top 10. The two Aston Martins, last season's championships runners up, down out of the point at the minute. Gabriel in for a very early pit stop. Is there any damage to the Aston Martin? As there is damage to the Aston Martin, it's a new front wing going on to Gabriel's car, as Gaspi will get up into P14. He starts down the hards along with Gelliend and more, as S22 dropping down the grid. He's going to drop, where is he going to drop to? 8th position after what looks like a bit of a spin, as Regan goes slow for an illegal overtake under yellow flags by the looks of things. That's the last thing Regan wanted, as he's now down to 12th as his teammate leads the race. Gellian out of that DRS window to KZ Mati and Chenki. KZ Mati can now use that buffer zone to Gellian as a bit of leeway to go to battle with Chenki, as Jax now up past Sniper Maker. As again, people running into that gravel trap, as holy cow, there's speed contact. Virtual safety car is out, as HMP with a 10-second time penalty, as what the fuck's going on? Nathan down into the pit under this virtual safety car. Softs going on to the McLaren car. Interesting from McLaren. The Sniper and Orion both into the pits, as well as Nathan. Sniper new from wing going on to his car. Orion new from wing going on as well. Both of them going to the hards. Nathan, interesting choice to go to the soft tyres under this virtual safety car. Perhaps he feels there's going to be another safety car in this race. Perhaps Gelliend and Rob have now been brought back in to this fight at the top with his virtual safety car. Gaspi in for medium tyres. Gabriel up into 14th. Ryan in 13th. It's 13th and 14th for last season's constructors runners up. I'm sure that their team principal Mask won't be the happiest of drivers with that. But continuing on in this race, we'll see what can happen as green flags drop, and now Joe has a good lead to his teammates. He had a little look down the inside of Gelliend, as Rob is just going to try and hold on a couple of seconds back, but he's got 7 seconds to S22, who leads the rest of this pack down to Regan now. As Gelliend and Mati both into the pits early on. That's interesting, especially for Gelliend on the hard tyres. Oh, they've had drive-throughs, that's what it is. Did anyone else pick up a drive-through? No, but Jax has 6 seconds of penalties, but 2 drive-throughs. I have the same bug I had last Saturday, where I can't see penalties getting given, so we're gonna actually, in fact, no, we're not gonna open the penalty tab, because that's just gonna be confusing. Because then we would know what tyres people are on, but, actually no we will, and when people are in the pits, we'll just reopen the tyres. But, Jack's 6 seconds of penalty is not what he wanted. He's got Regan chasing him down. Chenky now 2.7 lead to Joe. That drive through for KZ, Matty and Gelliend. Definitely not helping them out in this race. Chenky now under pressure from Goes Scala, drops behind both of them. As Gelliend and KZ Matty are going to send a wheel-to-wheel into the chicane. KZ Matty gets the run through there, but then runs wide and lets Gelliend straight back through. These two are having one hell of a battle in these early stages of the race. As the two Saubers swapping positions, Jack's looking to get a little bit impatient in behind there. Now Regan is looking to try and make something happen here, as Gelliend and KZ Matty are closing in on these two. As Regan now missing both end plates, but Regan not yet with a penalty. That's going to be good for his race. He'll be happy, as Gelliend is going to send it down the inside of Regan, and Regan's going to try and hold the position with this damage from wing. Gelliend is going to look for the switchback. Regan's going to still hold position. Regan finding the wall a little bit there, a little tap with the wall. Gelliend still stuck behind, and this is now dragging the likes of Scholar and Nathan back into this fight. Although, I don't think they have the pace over long term in this race, as Regan to the left hand side, going to try and defend it if he can. He can't, he's let both of them through. Gelliend and Kizamati up to 7th and 8th now, and now chasing down the Saubers, and they'll have another helping off the DRS. As Chenky now 4 seconds on the lead, as Nathan makes it past Scholar. Scholar 3 second time penalty. Looks to be struggling a little bit there as Gelly up past the first of the Saubers. Kizamati still in behind, as 4.2 seconds now the gap for Chenky. He's in another world of his own, but remember last season the driver who could have won the championship, Kyle Catterson, had a huge crash here, as Nathan now past Regan as well. As Regan into the pit lane he goes. What tyres is it going to be onto him? Mediums onto him. As now KZ into 6th. Kelly, no, not 6th. What's positions at 7th? KZ in 7th. Kelly into 5th. Does my phone going off? Who the hell is messaging me? Oh, it's just Snapchat, that can be ignored. Mercedes sits in 2nd and 3rd. But sitting 2nd and 3rd doesn't necessarily mean they'll finish there, with faster drivers catching them behind. Now Scarlett sitting in 10th. He's in good position for pointers. Sniper, Orion, Gabriel all behind are not the closest. They're 11.5 seconds away. As in fact, never mind. They might get Scala, as he's found the wall. Happened a few times last week in Canada, not China. I made that mistake already once today. Scala locking up both front tyres. He's missing his whole front wing. That's not great. Jax with 9 seconds of penalties. As KZ Matty going wheel to wheel with him. KZ going to take the second helping of DRS, and he's going to go to the outside and makes it before the corner. Nathan sitting in 9th, just letting whatever happens ahead happen. He's not going to be too worried about that. Scarlett into the pit lane he comes, and what tyres will it be for him, as Ryan facing the wrong way in turn 1. Does he have wing damage? He does, as that is a full course safety car. And as Jack's out of the race. And I called it before the race started that we would have a safety car, and we have. So safety car yapping time as Sniper up into the top 10. And who will pit and what will he pit onto? Chenky into the pits. You'd expect both Mercedes pitters. Joe, very late decision for the pits. Rob. Yeah, I'm not really listening though. I don't really care, to be honest. Chenky onto hards, Joe onto hards. Rob will have to go to mediums at some point in this race, but he's going to go to hards now. S22 to hards, Gillian to mediums, Kazamati in. He's going to go hard. This is actually a saving grace for Nathan. As I said, you'd probably be looking for a safety car to make that pit stop off the softs, and he's onto the hards now. Can they go 21 laps? HMB, safety car, good chance to serve that 10-second penalty he picked up earlier on. He will still, or he'll just come out behind Regan, in fact. That was a close one between the two of them, but he'll be just behind the Ferrari driver. And what Regan needs to not do is pick up a penalty behind the safety car. As it wouldn't surprise me if Regan was the type of driver to pick up a time penalty under safety car conditions. Regan, if you're watching, I'm not sorry for that. It's just the type of thing that you'd do. What else is there? So yeah, well, let's go over the Drivers' Championship. Why not? Haven't done that yet. Haven't done that in a few weeks. Kelly and still leads the championship even though he's missed the last, or not scored in the last 3. Chenky in 2nd, Joe in 3rd, KZ in 4th, Gabriel in 5th, and it's Entok in 6th. S22 in 7th after 2 podiums in 3 races he's done. He'll be looking for another win tonight. Rob in 8th, Owen in 9th, and Sniper rounds off the top 10 there. And as for constructors, Alpine lead 12 points over Ferrari and another 5 to Mercedes. Then it's the jump back to Aston Martin in 4th, who lead the midfield battle against Haas and Williams. Even throw Sauber into there. Then it's McLaren, Racing Bulls and Red Bull in that battle of the lower field for 8th position. As now we'll have few laps behind safety car, and we'll see. There's now safety car. Yeah, at least this, or at least another lap. Maybe it comes to no, I think we'll get another lap at you for Scholar and Orion to catch up as and see what will happen as I think safety car will be in. Maybe not, I don't know. As we got the green track, as we will go racing once again. Let's see how this goes on the restart. As Chenky leads the restart. Chenky first, Joe second. We've seen this before with them on restarts. Chenky goes early and he doesn't really catch anyone off there. If anyone's to have been caught off, it was Rob, as he's going to lose out to Gillian into turn 1. Gillian sending the dive down in the inside in case of Matty's now going to get around the outside off Joe as well. Joe now under pressure from Nathan. as Gillian 1.3 away from S22 in third, but he's the only one of the medium runners in that top 10 apart from Regan. Regan's also on the mediums. Nathan up past Gabriel after losing out to Gabriel. He's now chasing down Rob as Nathan's starting to lead a different group of the drivers here. As hello Kyle, good evening. Hey Kyle, we gotta give it to him. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. Yep. S22, 2/10 off Joe. He's having a good race here now. As thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. As per usual, it's very much appreciated. There certainly is still time. As HMB right on the back of Regan. This is for P10, but this group from sort of Gabriel down is a bit of a thing. As I thought there was going to be a little bit of a dive into turn 1. Not yet. As we'll see what can happen. Is there going to be a dive down this time? No, sits in behind Regan once again. Just being patient in these early stages of the safety car restart is where you need to just be patient and not rush anything. As Chenky's starting to pull away from Joe, who's starting to pull away from S22, who's having Gelliend closing down on him. These top 4 in a different league of their own as Kaiser Matty 1.1 behind, and he's got 1.1 to Rob. Kaiser Matty trying to close in, but he can't, as Gelliend will ride on board as he has a little look. He's going to send it down the inside of S22. S22 with the better traction holds it around the outside, but that's going to cost S22 times Joe having to defend against that dive bomb from Gelliend. But he'll still get DRS off Joe, as Kaiser Matty now with that has been brought back into the DRS train for the top 5. As Gelliend is second to 4th so far in this race, but still 17 laps, including this one, to make something happen. So we'll see what can happen between now and the end of the race. A little further back, well I say a little further back, it's quite a bit back now from Nathan to Gabriel, 3.2 seconds that gap, as Nathan is going to try and put pressure on Rob now that Rob is out of the DRS of KZ Matty. So we'll go back on board with Gelliend as he's going to have another chance on S22 this time around. As we're right on board, DRS open on the medium tyres, on the fresher, well on the same old tyre, same age tyres but faster compound. However, he will most likely need to pit again before the end of the race. Hard runners also may need to pit before the end of this race, depending on what tyre wear is like. Now, what can HMP do here? As he's got the run out of the final corner on Regan. Regan does have the DRS as well. Regan looks like they have a faster straight line setup, or just have the faster straight line pace. As now down into here, go just try it. And as Regan, why do you have to do it, Regan? Regan, can you just go one race without doing it? Kyle, if you're still watching the stream, which I don't know if you are, but if you're still watching the stream, as we will go to S22 making it past Joe for second place. But if you're still watching the stream, I guarantee you right now, Regan will turn around and say, Kyle was watching the stream at one point, it's his fault for getting the track limit penalty. That wouldn't surprise me. It's the type of thing he would say as HMB up into 10th, as Regan's going to try and have a little look back. There wasn't really any space there. It was an awkward one to make the dive, as it was a late move to the inside, but he's managed to keep it from spinning, and he's going to have the DRS still. But further up the grid, we'll go back to tyres because that's easier. As there's been a few penalties picked up this lap. S22 3 seconds, Gillian 3 seconds, Nathan 3 seconds, Regan picked up his 3 seconds, Scala's on 6 seconds, and then Ryan's on 3 seconds. So there's been a few penalties all picked up at the same time at this midway point of the race. But at this midway point, Chenky continues to lead the Grand Prix, as Nathan is going to continue to try and close in on Rob and try and make something happen. But with that 3 second penalty, he's got to do a lot in this race. As who is that? Well, Gaspy's just been in the pits. Scala was going slow temporarily. Gaspy onto hards. He's going to try and take it to the end of the race now. 4 positions at the points. He could still get points on debut with the penalties once they're applied at the end of this race, plus any post-race penalties. S22 now, since he's got past Joe, he's setting off his sights on Chenky Nathan into the pits. What tyres does he put on? It's a new set of hards onto the McLaren, and there's a new front wing onto the McLaren. As there's a yellow flag as Scala facing the wrong way between the final 2 corners, and he's going to be into the pits. This time out is very nearly clipped that inside wall. Scala into the pits, and will Gaspy jump him? We'll find out in time. As now S22 with the DRS, is he going to go to the inside of Chenky? He does, and he makes a move past Chenky. He'll get the double dosage of DRS to try and pull away, but does Chenky have the straight line speed on the battery to try and fight him back? He doesn't. He's losing out time. And now S22 runs a little bit wide there. It's going to give Chenky a chance. Gillian's made past Joe in all of that as well. As Scala comes out just ahead of Gaspy, a little bit of a lock up into turn 1. Gaspy makes contact with the rear of his car. That's not helpful with him, but now Gillian is setting his sights on the back of Chenky as S22 leads the Grand Prix for the first time tonight. He's got a 3 second time penalty though to gap, which he did also have at China. Not China. It's not China. It's got red on the flag, I know, but it's Canada. Canada last week. As Gaspy does jump Scala for P13 in this Grand Prix. As now, there's a yellow flag for HMB in the cell, but he's still sitting 12 seconds ahead of Orion in the points. So, still points position, and theoretically Orion's still got to pit. As is, I would talk about Orion having to pit again at some point. He just found himself facing the wrong way temporarily there, so it's going to be not helpful for someone else. There's no puncture, but apart from, well, a good chunk of it from wing missing. That will be another pit stop now for Orion. Presumably this lap. Whilst all that happened, Chenky comes back into the lead of this race. S22 is now chasing down Chenky again. Joe had a little look to the inside of Gillian, decided against it. These top 4, anything can still happen because Joe and Chenky can still pick up penalties. S22 and Gillian can still pick up more than 3 seconds, so doesn't necessarily mean that these 3 will, or these 4 will finish in the order they currently are in. A lot can still happen at Gillian, theoretically, unless he has some insane tyre saving over the last 11 laps, or 11 a bit laps, will need to pit again for a new set of tyres as the mediums are going to be stretching their lifespan to go that long. As S22 temporarily had a little experience, there was a massive snap on the exit there. Keeps the car going straight, doesn't lose too much time to Chenky, and doesn't lose too much time to Gallien, but that was a massive snap on the exit. As now, rounding the final corner, Ryan's in. Gaspy. Is Orion in? No, Orion hasn't come into the pit. Kaiser Matty has decided it's time to pit though. 9 laps on the hards, he doesn't like the feel of them. He's in, and there's a new set of hards going on. And that's interesting because also Sniper Maker and Gabriel are both making a dive into the pits as well. Orion is, in fact, he's back out of the pits. That's why he was fighting with Gaspy temporarily. Sniper Maker and Gabriel both exiting the pits. Nathan opens 9th HMB up into 8th, and he can now set his eyes on Regan, who's got his eyes on Kaiser Matty ahead, but Kaiser Matty on the fresher tyre, the brand new hard compound off tyre. S22 out in the lead, DRS open, Scarlet off the track to the side, they're letting everyone through. S22 is going to make, although he's going to make the lunge there this time round, decides against it again. He was halfway there. He's getting closer each lap, and he's putting the pressure on Chenky each lap, showing that he's there and he's willing to take the risk. But in fact, he's into the pits this lap, and so is Gelliend. And so is Joe. And now does Chenky, the tyre whisperer, manage to whisper these tyres all the way to the end of this race to win? And if he can, which he's done so many times before, could very well be a battle now for second and third place rather than for a race winning. Rob also into the pits, Regan also into the pits. HMB stays out for another lap. Chinky has 17.9 seconds to S22. S22 now doesn't have the helping of the DRS, which he had before. It's 18 seconds hovering around the gap between him and Chenky. And now, does Chenky decide to dart into the pits this lap? Well, keep an eye on that as Gaspy and Orion continue their battle here for P12 as the 47. Oh well, no, it's closing the gap now, but Gaspy to the inside, Orion to the outside. We'll see how this goes as Orion makes it up past Gaspy for P12, and we'll have the double dosage of the DRS. Chenky didn't pit, Chenky has stayed out. Kaiser Matty is back into 5th place now, 2.6 of those ahead of him. Gelliend up into 2nd, S22 in 3rd as HMB into the pits. Mediums would be the guess right now if there's a spare set of mediums. As is mediums. Onto the silver. And we'll see now how the rest of this race will go, as I don't know who might win, I don't know who yeah, so you never know who will win, who won't win in this situation. And but at this point, with the way Chenky can manage them tyres, you wouldn't put it past Chenky. But if S22 or Gelliend decide to stop having this, S22 is going to look down the inside of Gelliend, and he's going to put Gelliend under pressure, and they are very much now in the mindset of battling for 2nd position. They need to work together to pull away from Joe before they can think about this, because at this moment in time, Joe will take 2nd place, as down to the inside of the track goes S22. Purple lap, that looks like his fastest lap off the race for him. It is in 1 minute 18.450, so He has set the fastest lap of the race so far. And it's not too bad of a lap for the Williams driver. You'll be taking, as it stands, he'll be taking that point in this race. As we'll continue on and see how this race continues on. Now S22 again is going to look to try and make something happen against Gillian, but Gillian with the DRS manages to defend against it. And we'll continue on with the rest of this race. As Orion, possibly a bit of contact with Gatsby there, not quite sure, but S22 going to the outside. Is he going to try and switch back possibly? He has a little look at the switchback, not quite having the room to make it happen though, and Gillian will remain ahead, but will once again have a look at the penalties. 3 seconds for each of them, nothing for Joe. Kazamati is pushing to try and get in 3 seconds off the podium positions as well. This would be immense if he can possibly take a podium by the end of this race. S22 up ahead of Gilliand. Get the helping of the DRS again, as that is Orion without a front wing once more. It's not been the greatest of races from the Aston Martin. Scala is out, and that is just after Piastri's wall. And does anyone decide it's time to pit for softs or anything? As safety car came out just after Chenky passed the timing line, and this is what this is what Kazamati needed, and he is in the pits. And it's mediums for Kazamati. Interesting. Both Astons are in as well. I said there was a race where we'll get a safety car or two, and well, the prediction wasn't wrong. And we'll have a couple of laps at most. Gabriel onto the softs. We'll see if anyone else goes softs. HMB, Regan both go soft. As now, you got a little bit until the end of this race. What will happen? As anything can happen. You know, someone could spin it, someone could find a wall, you never know. Someone could teach their car how to fly. Chenky's in, I wouldn't be surprised if he's onto the softs. He shouldn't lose. I mean, S22 and Gillian both staying out. They're on practically new medium tyres. So they're going to try and get track position, which isn't going to happen because Chenky is going to still come out ahead of them. Joe is in the pits. He's going to go soft tyres. Gatsby's got soft tyres. Interestingly, Nathan hasn't pit unless he's going to come in this lap. Kazamati and Rob both in. Kazamati, I suspect, tried to go softs and didn't. Nathan has stayed out for track position. He is going to go up into 5th, as there's a lot of soft tyre runners now, with a couple of hard tyre runners in the mix as well. And this, with the amount of people in 0 lap old softs, showed how many people saved a set of softs in that race. Not necessarily for a late safety car like this. Yeah, not necessarily for a late safety car, but saving a set for if there was a situation to use them in the race. As if my calculations are correct, which they most likely aren't, but if they're somehow correct, we will have one more lap of safety car, and then no matter what, it will be in at the end of 26. As we shouldn't have to worry about that, because unless Regan drives slowly, we will be caught up, or near enough all caught up as, well, safety car. Let's see what speed Jenky's going, for example. I can't see what speed Jenky's going. So, well, let's pull up telemetry for a second. About 100 miles an hour at tops. So we're going roughly top speed here, so. It's gonna be a different one. Janky on soft against S22 on mediums. Regan, hurry the hell up, please. You're in 11th, Regan. How many seconds of penalties does Regan have? 13 seconds. Okay. Well, three of them are track limit penalties. We know that. So you've got 3 seconds of track limit. So you kept up to that. Ryan's got 16 seconds in Regan's defense. Sniper Maker, they're all going a little bit switchy positiony. A Sniper Maker retires from session on track. That will be reported to the stewards, I'm sure. As now we have safety car in. It's been called in a lot earlier than it was last time out. Last time out we were only getting to where the likes of Chenky and S22 are now before it's called in. There's a lot of tyre warming going up in these front runners here, and S22 trying to get as much heat as he can to get the jump down, or to get the jump on Chenky. When does Chenky go? He goes same place as last time, and them soft tyres proving a treat for him as he's already opening that gap up to S22. And these top 3 have now opened that gap up to Joe, who's now got Gatsby to get past. Now, with the retirement of Sniper Maker, it's put Regan into the points paying positions, and it looks like Gatsby will get a P11 or P12 on debut here. But Chenky leads S22 in second, Gilliand in third, Joe in fourth, Nathan in fifth, KZ Matty in sixth. But that's a bit of an interesting line from the Polish driver there as he chases down Nathan, trying to make something happen. Joe is struggling. He hasn't got the heat in them tyres. He's already 1.6 off these top 3. And if he continues to drop like this, he's going to perhaps not get a podium by the end of this. Or perhaps not get P2 like it was looking like he would at one point. Well, he's starting to get them softs to work nicely now as he's starting to close that gap down once again. But once we have the DRS re-enabled, the likes of S22 and Gilliand, if they can get that DRS, will get dragged along by Chenky. As talking about it, S22 is almost out of he is out of the DRS of Chenky. So Gilliand now against S22. This is for... Look, as Joe picks up a penalty, Gillian's picked up 6 seconds of penalties now. We're going to keep the penalty tab open for the rest of this race. Orion's on 22 seconds. He's picked up 6 seconds since we last checked. Regan's picked up another 3 seconds since we last checked. He's up into 9th, but he's going to lose out to HMB on penalties at the end. HMB will get 9th as long as he finishes this race. Gabriel is one of the few penalty-less drivers, along with KZ Matty and Chenky. Gatsby up ahead of Orion. Those two are going to continue to battle it out for the rest of this race, you'd suspect. As now round the outside of S22 goes Galliend. S22 doesn't have to worry too much, he just needs to beat Joe now to take second place in this race, Chenky. Unless he has a disaster class of a final lap, has got the race win. Well, we won't get too ahead of ourselves with that, but now, can S22 finish ahead on track, or will he let the penalties do the talking? As Orion is out of the session, as Gatsby then will finish 11th on his debut race. Not in the points, however. Unless something happens. Actually, no, perhaps he will finish in the points though, because Regan's penalties, Gabriel now picks up penalties, so now it's just Chenky and S22 who will pick up penalties as the interval thing. Okay, actually looking at that, Gatsby won't pick up points. The interval says 1.2 seconds. He is in fact not 1.2 seconds. As, what the hell has happened over here? As Regan, Rob and Gabriel all out, and that is a bit of a pile-up. As, well, I still don't think that puts Gatsby in the points on his debut. But, further ahead, Chenky in the final sector now. The track where he won his first WeRL Championship at last season, Season 3. He didn't even race that race, but it doesn't matter because he still won the championship. But this time, when he is able to race it, he's going to go on and he is going to win the Australian Grand Prix. S22 looks to be taking second, but we won't talk too soon unless penalties have an impact. He does take second. Case and Matty jumps to third. Joe in fourth. Kellyanne down to fifth. Nathan actually up to fifth. Kellyanne in sixth. HMB in seventh. And now we just wait for Gatsby to finish the race in P11. Well, I was not expecting to see 3 drivers DNF on the final lap of the race, but that has happened, and well, we only seen the names going grey, but yeah, that's that. Well, Gallihan took fastest lap in the end. Race winner Chenky most overtakes Nathan, driver of the HJMB. That wasn't a confusingly weird race in the end. There is confirmation of your finishing order. Chenky and Case and Matty, the only drivers not to receive a penalty. That's that. I don't really know what to say after whatever happened. We will just find out what the race is next week, and we're just gonna end the stream. It's a mystery round next week, so a reminder of how mystery rounds work. It can be any track that's not on the calendar, apart from Monaco, because God help us if we were to ever race Monaco. Yeah, until next week, have a good week, everyone. I'm gonna go and try and collect my thoughts of what the hell just happened, and see you all next week for the mystery round, wherever that may be. Goodbye.